Hey, it's Kristen, and this space is all about self-reclamation, body-based reflection, and emotional truth. And today we've got our tarot card reading. We're going to find out where you are, what's going on, what do you need to know, what would be helpful right now, what kind of clarity needs to come in about yourself and how that relates to everyone else in your life. So where are you now? Okay, so the Three of Wands. So looking towards the future, recognizing that you have a world of experience, a world of knowledge. You also could really have a lot of community, whether it be your family, your work path, and the community you have there that you have cultivated in that work path. This could be your friends. This could be looking at all of the the reflections of what you learned in all your relationships, and particularly your romantic relationships. But it's making a choice towards something different, something that you haven't experienced before, or maybe there's a similar quality, there's a through line to it, but ultimately you want to take what you say yes to and move forward with that. Feeling very emotionally stable, feeling emotionally grounded, but it's almost like it's time to spark yourself. Like, what do you need to do differently? What do you need to, inspire yourself with to sort of take a left turn in life? You could be, a bit bored here in this. You're looking out towards water is looking at and acknowledging that you are a person that has emotions, and you have these emotions move like water within the body. These emotions evoke how fluid that you can feel your way through situations, and how you can fluidly feel your way through the relationships. Here he comes, as always, as you move fluidly through the relationships in your life, or feeling through old and new and potential relationships. It's a reevaluation. You've left some things behind. I feel like there's something that you are turning your back to, at least for now. Perhaps this is something here that you've turned your back to, or you're looking away from while you reevaluate how you feel about it. And looking at another option here, like, what option do I want to take? But there's something that you are grabbing, something that you want, something that you desire, and you feel a desire in your body. You feel propelled to move towards something that feels emotionally safe and emotionally safe, but also there's that little spice to it. There's a danger that feeling that can come up because it is so unknown. And this is recognizing that you have the experience, you can feel your way through what is a red flag, what isn't a red flag in your life. You don't have to be afraid that you aren't in attune, to what feels dangerous to you. So perhaps what I want to say is, this isn't dangerous. This is just the unknown. So there's a little bit of, there can be fears around the unknown, but it's all energy. So fear, anxiety, feeling a little bit stuck, feeling a little bit like, maybe it's that spark that you're looking for to kind of move you. It's also excitement. So if we can we have energy in us, and we can perhaps understand that something that feels a little bit, it scares us a little bit, right? What is that quote that they say? Do something that scares you a little bit every single day. Something that kind of disrupts the pattern of the usual, so that you can move into something that may feel unusual. But really, deep down, there's a comfort there. but it's uncomfortable because you're not used to it. So you're in the middle of integration. So what energy or person is reflecting something important back to you? What energy or person is reflecting something important back to you? The Page of Swords. So something that I think has made you feel uncomfortable in communication. So someone has communicated, or there have been communications that have been sharp, direct, maybe disturbing to you, very disruptive to you. And finding out this information, it was uncomfortable, because maybe it was something that you were not looking at for a really long time. I think it was something that you know is not. I picked it up and it's reversed. So it's something that that you weren't looking at, perhaps because to change it would be uncomfortable. To change it would mean you have to take a totally different direction in life, or you have to see something from a different perspective, or it feels like your entire life might radically change by seeing this thing a different way. But it was important for you to have this knowledge, for you to accept whatever it was that was sharp that you didn't want to hear. This could be coming from a love relationship, a family member, or work. I'm really feeling it's going to be through work or love. But something that was important to hear, that in the moment was very difficult. That was hard. So what wants to be faced, what needs to be faced, what needs to be shifted, what needs to be embodied. Well, you are creating legacy through your own emotional stability, through what you feel is where you want to be going as you're creating your legacy for the future. Perhaps you were involved in something or with someone that felt right at the time and it worked for a very, very long time. You even, up-leveled yourself. You became more confident. There was a place of self-worth, or really feeling embodied in your power around this person or this situation or this environment. But it's like you found out some information about it that was disturbing, that was upsetting. It was something that you probably somewhere in your gut knew that you just didn't want to face. For now, I'm just going to put it off. I'm going to put it off, and boom, some communication or communications have come in. It could be something that came in all at once. This could be something that's kind of been happening for a number of months or a number of weeks. It could have been coming in perhaps slowly. Maybe this was something that you felt that you could manage or deal with, that you could perhaps quiet this down enough. But I think if you were in that situation, you can quiet it down, you got it under control. And in being able to do that, to get some sort of emotional groundedness, by feel like, well, I've controlled that situation, but it's not real emotional, long-lasting, integrated emotional stability, because you still have to face the fact that you want to go into the unknown, into something that you're not quite sure in this left turn in life how it's going to turn out. But it's something that you want. It's something that you've chosen. It's something that you've chosen a long time ago. You might have chosen it when you were in the womb. You might have chosen it, wishing on a star one day when you were a kid. You might have chosen this, on a New Year's Eve, sitting by yourself, or perhaps with an intimate group of friends, and you didn't even tell them what you were wishing. It was something for yourself. It's just something that you've known that you want to move into, and you've got what it takes. You have been creating this your whole life, really. This thing that you're going into next: new partnership, new life path, new work path. So, what is the integration? What's the integration here? Oops, 2 slid out. 3 slid out. So we're just going to take the bunch. The dark night of the soul. Well, you've been in the dark night of the soul perhaps for a period of time after realizing that you can no longer ignore something that's no longer working in your life, that you want to create something new, that you have a desire within yourself and you want to feel satisfied. When you wake up in the morning, you don't want to feel the ugh kind of feeling. You don't want to, maybe you've suppressed it or you've controlled it enough so that maybe it's like 90% gone. You're like, okay, it's 90% gone. I can deal with this little tiny bit that's left. No, we don't want to live life that way. We want to feel completely safe and good as we wake up and have our day and move through our day and not really worry about something that's disturbing or something that is never going to really go away. So is it something that you feel like you want to fix, or is it something that needs to be completely turned around and seen from a new perspective? And perhaps there's something that you are working through and it's part of your journey into going into the place where you actually want to be, where you are moving into, who you want to be seen, how you want to present yourself to the world, and what you want to be known for now, not before. Dark night of the soul. I ask for help when I need it, right? I ask for help when I need it. So you don't have to do it alone, right? You have the world here. You're looking at all of your resources, and you have inner resources, and I think that you've been using your inner resources to keep yourself calm, to keep yourself clear-minded through this entire situation. It's time to reveal yourself. Who can you speak to? Who, right now in your mind, think of 3 people that you can tell something that you didn't think that you could tell anybody. Who are they? I know that you've got at least one person. Who can help you break the spell? Poke through the veil. Prophetic past. I ground myself in the here and now, right? We're learning from our past. We don't try to ignore it or not take self-responsibility for it. Taking self-responsibility and adulting is what allows us to play. When we get to when we become adults, there is a way to find play within the adulting aspect of our lives, that it can be actually more of a relief to take responsibility and to own and acknowledge, right? And to ask for help, to surround ourselves with people that are going to be, honest and true, but also gentle and kind and respectful. I'll never forget one of the things I learned in my 20s was a friend of mine. When I was studying in London, I had done something. And it was, I think I had a roommate in London who was really treating me like crap. And she just was making me feel yucky. So I read a letter because it was someone from my actual college. I was studying in London with people from all over America, but my roommate happened in the second quarter, half of the year, happened to be someone that I knew from my own college. And, she always gave me a hard time, and they put us together because we were from the same college, and sort of how it worked out that way. But I read a letter that she wrote to a mutual acquaintance because I wanted to know if she was like writing stuff about me. And, she did. And I told a friend of mine, in the program that I was studying in, and she was like, and she looked at me, she goes, that was a crappy thing to do. That was really, shouldn't use the word crappy, but that's just not an honest way to be. That's just like, I know she's not nice to you and she's giving you a hard time, and that's not cool, but that's not good to do that. So I just wanted to and I felt loved. There was this energy. I was like, what? This person must care enough about me to tell me the truth. And she wasn't making fun of me or like, oh my God, you did that. She just was like really honest, like, you're better than that. So I just want to keep that in mind as we go through some of these hard things with people that you know that you can trust, that that you can talk to, that it may not be easy, but it is the way forward. And that's the people that you want in your life, are those that care enough about you to tell you the truth. Unbalanced ego. I align my inner world with the outer world. So I think you're dealing with some people that have an unbalanced ego, or a person with an unbalanced ego. And it's not your job to, take care of them. Obviously, we don't want to enable them, but it's also not your job to sort of twist yourself around. Well, how do I, maneuver my life? We don't want to sit there in a state of, fight or flight or freeze, on a daily basis, even if it's sort of in and out. Like if you've got yourself out of the constant freeze, which I think some of you have, it's like really sit and acknowledge, feel your seat in your chair, scan your body, really look for where am I either frozen or in flight or in fight, even just a tiny little bit, even the size of like your pinky toe. And just, dive into that and begin to explore that. And it will help to release some of the tension, but also for you to unblock insights around, what this person and situation really is, and how you can begin to, move out of it. Like, what are the insights? What does your body wisdom want to tell you, who to talk to, what to do? And the last one here, we had a lot of messages today. Fear of separation. Loss paves the way for rebirth. So it's about, as we've been saying, transformation. It's about evolution. It's about being brave and trusting yourself, trusting in yourself and your self-worth, in your personal reclamation and finding who you really are, and moving forward without feeling, to lose this thing in my life. I'm going to lose everything. Your identity is not attached to whoever or whatever this is. And it can be difficult to move through what feels like the loss of, part of our identity. I mean, I had a friend who was with a job for 20 years and, that had to go. And he went through an identity, recalibrating, I want to say, not identity crisis. We can make it a crisis. If you feel the crisis, take a deep breath. It's an identity realignment, and you don't have to be afraid to let go of things that are no longer working, functioning, serving you, because it's only the resistance to that is only going to make it worse. And it'll put you in that state of really staying in that fear of moving forward, of taking those risks. So I do want to ask really quickly, just one more little piece of advice, one more inspirational piece of advice as you're moving forward. What do we need to know to feel good about moving forward in what seems unclear, what seems like unknown, what seems like a piece of our identity shifting and leaving us? So we want to, acknowledge what that identity did for us and how it made us grow as a person, and what it's morphing into. A part of it is leaving, and thank it for its service as we let it float down the river. You could even visualize just putting it, whatever it is, putting it on a canoe and pushing it down the river, pushing it down the Amazon River. Because that is freedom, because you are reclaiming freedom, because you are finding a whole new freedom, a whole new definition or version of what freedom is. I'm going to leave it at that. New definition, new version of freedom. You thought you knew what freedom was, and you did. That version of freedom served you. This is a new, more expanded vision of your own personal freedom coming in. Thank you so much. You could say I move with honesty through this chapter as my life, as it winds into a close. I move in through my process with honesty as I move through this process of leaving a chapter of my life. I honor my pace, my truth, and my boundaries. I honor my truth, my pace, and my boundaries. So Please let me know in the comments below what you are resonating with. Please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me. I'm a teeny tiny channel right now. And if you want to help me, and because you like what's going on and what I'm saying so that others know, give me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe. I would love to come hang out with you more and have you a part of the community. I will see you in the next one. Stay good. Bye.